Yes, good morning from Hamid International Airport in Doha. And yeah, a very early start for me today. 04:30 hours I left the hotel, and I'm here in the business class section of the airport, ready to just go through security and hang out in the lounge for a bit. Flight to London today on Qatar Airways A380, my first time on one of those, and I'm upstairs in seat 11A in business class. It's going to be a great flight this. I've been looking forward to it for months, so why don't you come with me? We'll get airside and we'll go and have a look at the lounge, and then we'll get on the plane. So I'll see you in a bit. Yes, Hamad International Airport. Apologies if I sounded a bit tired there. I'd only been in Doha a couple of nights. I hadn't really had that much sleep. The taxi had dropped me off outside the dedicated business and first class arrivals entrance, and I'd been greeted and shown to the check-in desks by a member of the Qatar Airlines staff. Now, I was trying to be a bit discreet by using my phone to film, though there's hardly anybody in this area, which, as you can see here, is further separated from the rest of the terminal by this screening. And after going through my own private security and bag checks, I was dumped back into the main terminal building, where I made my way to the Mourjhan lounge, which in Arabic means coral, apparently. Yeah, I don't mind saying at this point that I felt totally out of my depth. Now, I don't travel in business very often, and you know, this video is made from the point of view of someone, me, who doesn't have that much experience of it. So expect the word amazing to crop up from time to time as I show you how I get on. Now, I was in the lounge for a good hour or so and enjoyed a very nice breakfast. The food and service, as you would expect, was amazing. Following that, I decided to head for the gate A5 this morning, where a few people had already started to gather. But of course, this area was for economy passengers. Business and first boarded via their own jet bridge on the A380, and so had their own separate waiting area upstairs. It wasn't long before we were called through, and I caught my first glimpse of the aircraft, A380. This was my first time on an A380, and yeah, the excitement really was starting to build at this point. Hiya, thank you very much. Thank you. 11A? 11A. Thank you very much. A nice warm greeting at the door, and again, an attentive welcome in the cabin. Now, the business class cabin is quite big, isn't it? Now, I was in window seat 11A. It's not the Q suite, but yeah, for me, first impressions were amazing. You've got a small pillow here, so even the pillow says amazing. A lovely warm blanket here on the side, along with a diptyque amenity kit and a protection kit behind it. I settled in, listening to the music, which at the time I remember sounded a bit like the stuff they play at Alton Towers when you're wandering around. Yeah, that kind of detracted from the experience a bit for a moment, but yeah, I was quickly reminded of where I was after Geraldine, the flight attendant, brought me over a glass of Laurent Perrier Brut champagne, and a glass of water, of course. I eventually found a temporary space for the blanket, and I put my flight socks on. Plenty of legroom here, as you would expect. We pushed back after flight deck informing us that there would be a 20-minute delay in the Heathrow area. I wonder what all that was about. Well, all would be revealed, or not as it happened, a few hours later on. In any case, this was one flight where I was absolutely not bothered by delays one single bit. I'd managed to find the onboard cameras by this point too, and was enjoying every minute. Well, we lined up on runway 34, and I gazed out through at least one of three windows I could have used to witness the takeoff. I must say, it was so quiet on this aircraft. It just seemed to glide down the runway, then effortlessly start climbing into the sky. No fuss. Yeah, it was really impressive actually, and you know, it was something I hadn't really felt in any other aircraft. just amazing, wasn't it, that, with views over to Doha in the distance too. We were soon heading northwest, up the Persian Gulf towards Iraq, and then we would go on to mainland Europe a little bit later on in the journey. My table was laid for breakfast, which was quickly served and plentiful. I noted here that they light a candle for each serving, and no idea why, but if anybody knows, then please let me know in the comments below. I'd already eaten loads, so yeah, just went for the light continental, which was fruit, homemade mango yogurt, and a croissant. Oh, and a cup of tea as well. After about an hour and a half, I decided to get some rest, and so I put the bed into its horizontal position, using the controls to the side of the seat here. And yeah, there was plenty of room, one or two screaming babies and a loud snore nearby, but I reckon I probably got an hour's worth, which is not too bad for me. So of course I knew that there was a bar area on board, so after putting the seat up I wandered towards the back of the cabin. And yes, this truly is an amazing space. You can get anything you want, though guess what I had? A Coke. Yeah, just a Coke. Yeah, there were a couple of other passengers in there, and I reckon there was easily space for 10 comfortably. Now the bar area itself is located in the middle, with seats on either side, and there were some great views of the wing. Now I think we were somewhere over the mountains of Turkey at this point. A lunch was served, and I'd chosen the Arabic meze, just because I'd seen other proper YouTubers eating it, to be honest. And then I went for the Qatari style chicken mashkool with dagoos sauce, I think, which was lovely. A hot towel on a rectangular plate was handed out after the meal. And I did check out the toilet area, as you would expect me to, and yeah, this was certainly one of the best loo reviews I've done. No window was the first thing that I noticed though. There are lots of amenities available here, along with some mini cups. The toilet also features a drop down seat, so you can get changed into or out of your pyjamas more easily, I would say. And yeah, look at the sink, it's got one of these waterfall style taps. As expected, everything was great. And when I got back to my seat, the crew had been handing out luxury Swiss chocolates. Well, that saved me buying another present, didn't it? A couple of hours to run, and it was time to just chill out and admire the scenery for a bit. Well, we soon crossed over the English Channel, descending towards London. The weather wasn't too bad, though it was -2 degrees Celsius in the capital, according to the flight deck. As you saw, we had to make a few turns before making our final approach to LHR this morning, and the cloud cover outside, well, after a while, I was like totally disorientated. I had no idea which runway we'd be landing at, or how far off the ground we were. Now this aircraft was equipped with front, rear and underside cameras, though all you could see at this point was cloud. Well, stand by guys, because this was one of the most amazing landings I've ever experienced. We must have been no more than 100 feet off the ground before I saw anything. So imagine the skill of the pilots, right, and the precision of the instruments when landing in these conditions. And the confidence between man and machine must be 100%. Just incredible, isn't it, really, to land one of these massive aircraft in these conditions. Now, I watched it back on Big Jet TV afterwards, and it was absolutely awesome. Now, if you saw my previous video with Qatar in economy, and I'll link to it here, you'll know that I flew out to Doha from Manchester for £236.28 plus 7,550 avios. And now this return leg cost me a further £86.70 plus 43,000 avios. And if you value avios at 1 pence, that's a total cost of £828.48. So easily under £1,000 for this experience on a flight lasting a good 6.5 to 7 hours each way. Well worth it, in my opinion. But I guess if you do it regularly, then yeah, maybe it doesn't become that amazing anymore. I don't know, you tell me. This video is not a comprehensive technical review of the aircraft or the product. It's not even a comparison with other airlines, really, and all I wanted to do was show anybody that if you've never flown long-ish haul business class, it's more achievable than you think. Even if you do it just the once, the experience will remain with you forever. We got to the gate, and yeah, the bad weather had engulfed us again. After disembarking, I made my way to the tube station at Heathrow to catch a train into the capital and ultimately back home. There's nothing quite like the London Underground, is there, to quickly take the gloss off a business class flight and dump you back into reality. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. I'll see you on another adventure soon, and as always, cheers for now.